Tom, who has taken the first watch, sits by the door, his weapon resting in his lap. He listens to the quiet sounds of the night, every little noise amplified in the eerie silence of the prison. The others are trying to sleep, but he can tell from their restless movements that they're just as uneasy as he is. As the hours pass, Tom's mind starts to wander, replaying the events of the past few weeks. The loss of friends, the constant danger, the toll it's taken on all of them. He wonders how much longer they can keep going, how much more they can endure before something gives. His thoughts are interrupted by a faint sound, a soft thud, barely audible. He tenses, straining to listen. There it is again, a little louder this time, coming from somewhere deeper in the prison. Tom's heart pounds in his chest as he slowly stands, gripping his weapon tightly. He moves to the door, peering out into the dark corridor. The sound comes again, a steady, rhythmic thudding, like something heavy being dragged across the floor. He turns back to the group, his voice low but urgent. Everyone up, now. The others stir, groggy and disoriented, but the tone in Tom's voice snaps them to attention. They grab their weapons, the fear quickly returning as they realize something is wrong. "What is it?" Rachel whispers, her eyes wide. "Not sure," Tom replies, his voice tense. "But there's something out there. We need to check it out, make sure we're still alone in here." The group exchanges nervous glances, but they nod in agreement. They can't afford to ignore any potential threats, not in a place like this. Tom leads the way, moving cautiously down the corridor with the others close behind. The sound continues, growing louder as they approach a stairwell leading down into the lower levels of the prison. The air is colder here, and a damp, musky smell permeates the walls. They descend the stairs slowly, their footsteps echoing off the concrete walls. The sound is louder now, unmistakable, a dragging, shuffling noise, coming from somewhere just ahead. At the bottom of the stairs, they find themselves in a long, narrow corridor lined with heavy metal doors. The sound is coming from one of the rooms at the far end, a deep, rhythmic thud that reverberates through the floor. Tom motions for the others to stay back as he approaches the door. He can feel his pulse racing, his hands slick with sweat as he grips the handle. With a deep breath, he pushes the door open, the heavy metal creaking on its hinges. The room beyond is dark, the only light coming from a small, barred window high on the wall. At first, Tom sees nothing out of the ordinary, just an empty cell, its walls bare and cold. But then he hears it again, the unmistakable sound of something being dragged across the floor. He steps into the room, his heart in his throat, and then he sees it. In the far corner, half hidden in the shadows, is a figure, a man, or what was once a man, now little more than skin and bones. The figure is chained to the wall, its wrists bound in heavy manacles. It's alive, but only barely, its body a grotesque mockery of human form. The man's face is gaunt, his eyes sunken and hollow, his skin stretched tight over his skull. His clothes are tattered, barely hanging onto his emaciated frame. The man is dragging his body across the floor, the chains rattling with each agonizing movement. His eyes are glazed, unseeing, and his mouth moves soundlessly, as if trying to speak. Tom feels a wave of revulsion and pity wash over him. This man, whoever he was, has been left here to die, forgotten and alone in the dark. He motions for the others to come in, and they enter the room cautiously, their expressions turning to horror as they take in the sight before them. "Oh my God," Sarah whispers, her hand covering her mouth. What happened to him? Tom kneels beside the man, trying to see if there's anything they can do for him. But it's clear that he's beyond saving. The man's breathing is shallow, ragged, each breath a struggle. His body is riddled with sores, and his eyes are empty, as if he's already given up. Who could have done this? Rachel asks, her voice trembling with anger and fear. Tom doesn't answer. He's seen enough of humanity's darker side to know that there are people out there who would do this, who would leave someone to rot in a place like this. But the question gnaws at him: how long has this man been here? And more importantly, are there others? As he tries to process what they've found, the man's lips move, a faint whisper escaping. Tom leans closer, straining to hear. Kill. Feels like a trap, its walls closing in on them. As they settle down for the night, Tom takes the first watch with David. They sit by the door, their weapons close at hand, listening to the sounds of the prison around them. Every creak, every rustle, puts them on edge, their nerves frayed to the breaking point. The hours pass slowly, the darkness outside pressing against the windows. Tom's thoughts drift back to the man they found, to the horror of his final moments. He wonders how many more like him are out there, how many more lives have been destroyed by this nightmare. But he also knows that they can't dwell on it, that they have to keep moving, keep fighting to survive. The world has changed, and they have to change with it if they want to make it out alive. As the night drags on, Tom can't shake the feeling that something is watching them, that they're not alone in the prison. He scans the shadows, his heart pounding in his chest, but he sees nothing. Just darkness, silence, and the weight of their collective fear. When his watch finally ends, he wakes Emma and Mark to take over, though sleep doesn't come easily. His mind is filled with images of the man in the cell, of the emptiness in his eyes, and of the horrors that might still be lurking in the depths of the prison. The next morning, the group is exhausted but alive. They gather their things, knowing that they can't stay here much longer. The prison, once a symbol of hope, has become a place of fear and uncertainty. Tom suggests they do one final sweep of the prison before they leave, just to make sure there are no more surprises waiting for them. The others agree, though they're all eager to be gone from this place. They split up into pairs, each taking a different section of the prison. Tom and Rachel take the upper levels, while David and Sarah check the ground floor. Emma and Mark are tasked with searching the lower levels, where they found the man in the cell. As Tom and Rachel move through the upper floors, they find nothing out of the ordinary, just empty cells, abandoned offices, and long-forgotten remnants of the prison's former occupants. But the feeling of unease never leaves them, the sense that they're being watched, that the prison itself is alive with some malevolent force. Downstairs, Emma and Mark explore the lower levels, their footsteps echoing in the cold, damp corridors. The oppressive silence is punctuated only by the occasional drip of water from the ceiling. Emma's flashlight beams cut through the darkness, casting long shadows that dance on the walls. They reach the area where they found the man the previous night and carefully check the surrounding rooms. Emma tries to keep her breathing steady, her nerves frayed by the recent events. "Mark, do you hear that?" she whispers, straining to listen. There's a faint sound, like a distant hum or buzz, coming from somewhere deeper in the lower levels. Mark, who's been quiet and brooding since their discovery, nods. "I hear it, let's check it out, but stay alert." They follow the sound down a narrow corridor, the walls lined with old storage rooms and maintenance closets. The buzzing grows louder, more insistent, until they reach a heavy metal door with a small, barred window. Emma peers through the window and sees something that makes her gasp. Inside, a group of survivors, 4 or 5 people, are huddled together, their faces gaunt and hollow-eyed. They're dirty and disheveled, their clothing in tatters. One of them, a woman, is clutching a makeshift weapon, a broken broom handle. "Are they?" Emma starts, but her voice falters. Mark looks through the window, his face growing darker with realization. They're not zombies. They're alive. But why are they locked up? Emma hesitates. Maybe they're being kept here. Like prisoners. Mark nods, a grim expression on his face. "We need to get them out. They might have information about what's going on here." They try the door, but it's locked. Emma looks around, searching for a key or another way in. "We need to find a way to open this door." Mark examines the lock, his brow furrowed. "This looks like a heavy-duty lock. We'll need something strong to break it open."